Welcome to the International IMPROVATE Business Conference, a platform for making long-lasting connections, allowing change makers in technology and decision makers in government to make progress through innovation. IMPROVATE is dedicated to finding solutions and sparking collaborations that improve the quality of life for people around the world. Today, the new world of agriculture. We zoom in on southeastern Europe to hear the challenges they're facing in the future of agriculture and how Israeli innovators can help make the changes they need happen. So who are we going to hear from? Well, here with us in the studio is IMPROVATE's founder and chair, Irina Nevzlin. Co-chairing this conference is former Bulgarian President Rosen Plevneliev. Joining us from Jerusalem, the UN Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process, Nikolai Mladenov. Also taking part, ministers from Israel and southeastern Europe. Israeli Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Alon Shuster. Bulgarian Minister of Agriculture, Food and Forestry, Desislava Teneva, Executive Director of Bulgaria's State Fund Agriculture, Vasil Grudev, Bulgaria's Economy Minister, Romanian Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Adrian Oros, Theodoros Karoglu, Special Minister for Macedonia and Thrace, Tugomir Majda, Croatia's State Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, and Foteni Arampatsi, Greek Deputy Minister of Rural Development and Food. And right here in the studio, we'll also be joined by Greek Ambassador Panayotis Saris, head of the Economic Diplomacy Department of the Greek Embassy, Nicholas Christodoulidis, and Konstantinos Daskalopoulos, First Secretary for Economic and Commercial Affairs at the Greek Embassy, plus Dr. Yaroslav Shviet-Karpovich. He's the Scientific and Economic Counselor at the Polish Embassy in Tel Aviv. And of course, we'll be hearing from 7 of Israel's leading agri-tech companies: AgriGo, AgriGreen, GrowFit, Roots, Adama, AgroScout, and Groundwork BioAg, each one breaking down their solutions for a smart future in agriculture. And this is all very practical. So watching along with us, representatives of investment funds from around the world looking to invest in Israeli companies right now. Let's start off right here in the studio. Israel's Minister of Agriculture, Alon Shuster, it's great to have you with us. And Irina Nevzlin, of course, founder and chair of IMPROVATE, Groundwork BioAg. They produce beneficial fungi for commercial agriculture. Here's a quick look at what exactly that means.
What's your farm's greatest physical asset? It's your land, of course, the ground. But years of applying chemical fertilizers and pesticides are literally eroding the value of your main asset. How could you increase your soil's natural fertility and let your ground work? Plants have benefited from mycorrhiza over the last 400 million years, but modern cultivation techniques deplete the natural mycorrhiza in your soil. Groundwork's Rutella is a pure mycorrhizal inoculant, 100% natural and highly effective. Based on over 25 years of applied research at Israel's Volcani Center, Rutella is 10 to 100 times higher in concentration than most competitive products, making it the first of its kind to be relevant for seed treatment. Field trials have demonstrated double-digit yield increases in both corn and soybean, among other row crops and vegetables. Mycorrhiza is a symbiotic relationship between 90% of all plant species and fungi. The microscopic fungi latch onto plant roots and effectively extend them in an underground web. They physically access nutrients that are out of the root's reach and chemically break down unavailable bound nutrients, especially phosphorus. While non-mycorrhizal corn plants absorb only 15% of applied phosphorus fertilizer, mycorrhizal corn plants absorb up to 90%. The result? No more unavailable phosphorus. Better nutrient uptake translates to a wide scope of benefits to farmers. Rutella can significantly improve yield. Many crops such as corn, onions, garlic, sorghum, olive, cannabis, and carrot require mycorrhiza in order to grow optimally. Farmers can save on fertilizer, notably phosphorus. Under certain circumstances, water can also be saved. Mycorrhiza improve plant resilience in the face of several types of stress, such as drought, acidity, or salinity. All of these benefits come in a completely eco-friendly product. Rutella products are available in several cost-effective formulations to suit your farm. Higher yield, less fertilizer, healthier crops, all natural. With Rutella mycorrhizal inoculants, your ground works.
Dan Grotzky is a serial entrepreneur, co-founder, and VP of Sales and Marketing at Groundwork BioAg. His international experience ranges from information technology and communication to clean tech and, of course, ag tech. So for those of us who are not familiar with mycorrhizal fungi, or weren't until just a moment ago, tell us a little bit about what it is and why it's so important.
Great. Thanks for having me, by the way. It's a pleasure to be here. So mycorrhiza is a symbiosis between fungi and plants, whereby the fungi effectively extend the root system of the plant in an underground web. And this is the way plants grow in nature and have been growing for 400 million years. In fact, 90% of all plant species, that's how they grow. But in agriculture, first we kill everything and then we try to grow plants. And so we've essentially broken the rhizospheric ecosystem that is so essential to plant life. At Groundwork, what we do is we produce mycorrhizal inoculants so that we can bring that life back to the ground. And the farmers can let their ground work.
So what makes Rutella unique?
So Rutella is the most cost-effective, most concentrated mycorrhizal inoculants on the planet. We employ unique production methods to get what you see in this picture here, which is just a little drop of water under a microscope that's teeming with spores. Mm-hmm. And the concentrations are very, very high, which is what enables us to deliver it very, very cost effectively. This is important really to penetrate row crops with a solution that's within their price point that can be implemented on seeds. So it's a seed treatment where this is applied. Furthermore, we have unique strains that were isolated here in the Judean desert and are therefore true survivors, kind of like Israelis are, and can really, they're very vigorous and robust.
Right, like Irina Nevzlin mentioned earlier, Israel is an expert at making something in impossible situations. So I think that's a good example. You mentioned cost effective. What does this mean? What's sort of the bottom line for farmers?
So all a farmer needs, with Rutella X, which is our professional seed treatment product, it's our most concentrated product, all a farmer needs to do is apply 15 grams for an entire hectare of corn, wheat, soybean, most any row crop. And this is an example of what you would see in this photo behind me. Mm-hmm. This is treated, untreated. What the farmer gets, first of all, is improved yields. So you see significant yield increases very often. You can do that while saving on fertilizer, most specifically phosphorus. You can save up to 50% of your phosphorus fertilizer and still get the same yields and higher. Finally, and this is very important, stress. So in fields where there is poor soils or acidity or alkalinity, salinity, droughts, flooding, these plants are under stress. And just like with people, when we eat better, we're healthier and we're more productive. Sure. Well, the plants are the same way. And so if the nutrient uptake is better, the plants really perform much better. Finally, you get all of that in a completely eco-friendly product. We're talking about biologicals, completely natural, and we're replacing chemistry with biology.
So, I mean, my last question for you is exactly that, is what impact do you actually have on the environment?
Well, that's where I come from, right? On a personal note, this is the reason that I came to co-found Groundwork BioAg. First of all, you're getting higher yields with the same resources, so that you're creating more food. But more than that, when you save on fertilizer, you're saving chemicals, you're saving on runoff pollution, mm-hmm. and this is a very significant problem. The whole phosphorus cycle is a mess these days. Finally, mycorrhiza produces something called glomalin. It's the only known organism that produces glomalin. And glomalin is it's like a sticky adhesive. It's a glycoprotein that sticks the soil together. So when you have healthy soil and it has its tilth, it's called tilth, that's because the glomalin is sticking it together. Apparently, glomalin is also responsible for 27% of the carbon that is sequestered into soils, which is the land's largest carbon sink. And so you're not only getting higher yields, you're not only saving on fertilizer, you're actually mitigating climate change at the same time.
Yeah. And all of that, again, exactly the words that we've been talking about. This is not just about dealing with Agro-Tech in COVID-19, it's about the much bigger problem of climate change. Dan Grodzki, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
As we come to an end here, let me turn it back over to our co-chair, former Bulgarian President Rosen Plevneliev. So after hearing from ministers, diplomats, tech innovators here, give us your sort of closing thoughts on where it all goes from here.
First of all, let me thank you to IMPROVATE team. You guys, you've done a great job. We're very proud of you. Our moderator, Nurit, you were amazing, and we are all grateful to you too. Speaking about Israeli companies that we saw today, we learned a lot from them. We saw the future. We are ready to grab that future. Speaking about, on behalf of all of the politicians, presidents, deputy ministers, ambassadors, so many people that were with us today, I am extremely grateful that you gave us the opportunity at IMPROVATE to come together. We shared ideas, we shared plans, we shared strategic thinkings and understanding, and we shared the same vision. And on top of that, all those countries we're talking about today, with Greece, Bulgaria, Romania, Croatia, and others, all of them are strategic partners of Israel, are friends of Israel with deep-rooted cooperation that goes centuries behind. And all of them love Israel and cooperate in all the fields. And here is the message. This conference, we enjoyed so much, extremely and professionally organized on a world-class event that goes to world-class media, the leading media in Israel, a leading business media in the world are listening to us and are going to see how we come together. But this conference is not just ending. IMPROVATE is a platform to bring business, politicians, everybody who is anybody in the ecosystem together. And this is ahead of us. We had a great conference today, but we do have our plans. Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, Croatia are ready in the next months to host delegations from Israel. Israeli companies will see all the decision makers. They will see the big farmers, the small farmers, the very profitable international giants. They will see the potential. They will see and they will learn. And in a 3 days visit, they will be much more involved into what's going on in this market. And again, talking about Southeast Europe, it's a fast and a very dynamically growing market. It's 20 billion euros per year investments in agriculture. It's $80 billion per year market of itself, and it is growing. And there is no other way to grow but with cooperation with the best. And that's you guys from Israel. Greetings and shalom.
Thanks very much, President Plevneliev. A whole lot of potential, as you say, that is ripe and ready to be used and taken forward. Thanks so much for being with us and, of course, co-chairing all of this. And that is it for us from IMPROVATE's international conference, Smart Agri-Tech in Southeastern Europe. Over the last couple of hours, we've heard, of course, from former Bulgarian President Rosen Plevneliev, UN Special Envoy Nikolai Mladenov, agriculture ministers from Greece to Croatia, Bulgaria, and Israel, all across the region, all of them breaking down what their countries need now for a thriving and sustainable future. But most of all, we got a taste of Israel's leading agri-tech companies, all of them excited to provide tech solutions for this region in its transformation. And that is exactly what IMPROVATE is all about, creating those connections. Thanks for joining us.